2nd and 9 from the Rams 12-yard line. Play action, screen right. It's intercepted. Kenny Young down the left side. He hits midfield. Needs a block. Young to the inside. Now back to the outside. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, LA! On the first play of the second quarter, Kenny Young takes it to the house.
Rams radio 24-3. The good guys beat the Patriots and end a 17-year string that the Patriots will win at least 10 games. That was, I don't know about y'all, man, but I had a pretty damn good night last night. I had a nice dinner. Audra made some shrimp and edamame something or other with some it was delicious. And the Rams beat the Patriots 24-3 and topped that off with a little Aztecs, 23rd ranked Aztecs, soon to be top 20, 80-68 over 22nd ranked Arizona State on the road to go 2-0 against the Pac-12. I hope y'all had as good a night as some of us did, because that's what I call a pretty damn good night. What's up, man?
It was an exceptional night for the Aztecs and Rams. You saw the best defense. I believe that is the best defensive unit in the NFL. Take away anything the Patriots wanted to do. You see why, Cam Newton is who he is at this point in his career. He can get so sloppy at times, and he just does not have that extra gear anymore to take over against really good teams. And then when you take it to the hardwood, this Aztec team, I don't know how to describe it, because I don't look at that roster and say, they have the best player in the conference, but there's no question that they're the best team in the conference. Like, if that makes any sense.
They could be the best team in the Pac-12. Who's better than them in the Pac-12? Who's better than them in the Pac-12?
And they've beaten the preseason favorite and second place team.
I'm just saying, who's better than them in the Pac-12 right now? They're the second best team on the West Coast, next to Gonzaga. They're the second best team in the Western United States. I mean, is that an exaggeration?
No.
I don't know that Arizona
beat two really good basketball teams, and they've been able to play two really good basketball teams.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Lobo basketball gets started on Sunday. What's up, y'all? Merry Friday to you. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. I'm Jeff Siembieda with JJ Buck. Micah's producing on the radio side. It looks like Alden and Josh producing for you on ProView Networks, where you can watch the show, ProViewNetworks.com, or our Facebook page, The OD in the AM. Invite you to be part of the show today, 505-246-0610 or 888-922-0610. Emails come in a lot at jeff@610knml.com, jj at 610knml.com. I encourage you to follow JJ on the Twitter. It's _JJ Buck. So start with the NFL. Look, the Rams, it amazes me at times, and this happened last time. Was it the Tampa Bay game? They come out the first couple of series, and you're like, dang, they look good. They're running the ball. Cam Akers was terrific last night, 171 yards for them. But they're running the ball well and executing that offense really, really nicely, because their run sets up what Jared Goff can do. There's a lot of eye candy in their offense, and he was good. They moved the ball the first two drives, and then all of a sudden they stall. And you're like, where did that offense go? And then in this case, it was their defense. You just heard the clip that their defense stepped up and won it. But I'm still not sold that they've got an offense that can win a Super Bowl or get them to the Super Bowl. I think I agree with you on LA's defense, JJ. I think they're terrific. Now, I don't think they shut down an incredibly good offense yesterday. I think New England is really, really, really struggling to figure out what it is they're trying to do and then trying to and execute it. And they've got brilliant minds over there. But that said, I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC West. I think, even though they can't beat San Francisco, but they don't have to play San Francisco anymore. I think when you put them up against New Orleans, if New Orleans has Drew Brees back, I might lean New Orleans because I think New Orleans has a pretty good defense too, and I worry about the Rams' offense.
And that's fair. That's the entire question with Jared Goff. It has been since the Super Bowl run. Is that year, it felt like week in, week out, the offense was clicking at an unbelievable level. You saw the best of Jared Goff. Now, he hasn't been that quarterback consistently, but it's been spurts. And yesterday, as good of a performance it was, yeah, the the Patriots were able to keep him out of the end zone. I do think a lot of that too in the second half was Sean McVay like realizing we don't have to be aggressive. Like I don't have to put Jared Goff in a situation where I'm throwing the football downfield. Maybe we'll turn it over because you saw right out of the 8th, the Patriots were not able to do anything. They had the big goal, 4th and goal stop early in the contest, and then after that field goal, nada. So I think a lot of it in the second half was just really the game plan of, all right, Cam Akers is going to run the football. If we don't get a first down, we'll punt, we'll get the ball back, and we'll just run this clock out.
How about the way Cam Akers ran the football? It was like they're playing Alice yesterday. I mean, honestly, it looked like a team that was playing the Alice No-D Cowboys, where they just run it down their neck. That was an impressive show by that rookie. And in fact, looking at it, Malcolm Brown didn't even get a carry. Henderson only got 2. I mean, Cam Akers got 29 carries yesterday. 171 yards, and he's taken over that backfield. That rookie was terrific last night. Now, I don't know if that's a team more than any other where you have no idea, at least up until this week, who's going to be the main ball carrier. I think Cam Akers has taken over that role.
He's been the lead back the last 2 weeks, really the last 3 weeks. Darrell Henderson is number 2, and Malcolm Brown is out of sight, out of mind right now. Sometimes you'll see him on passing downs. But it was one where so far they were just kind of going hot hand approach, and something clicked for Cam Akers in this offense the last couple weeks, and he had 84 yards in the first quarter. If they have that kind of run game, it gives them a different dynamic up front. I think that really does play into what Sean McVay wants to do moving forward with the positions he wants to put in Jared Goff. And so I absolutely get what you're saying about kind of the offense and how blah it felt in the second half. But I just think it was straight up, Sean McVay understanding like this team's not scoring on us, and I don't want to do anything stupid at this point in time.
So yesterday's not what concerns me about the Rams offense. It really has nothing to do with yesterday, because I absolutely agree with you that they pulled the reins back on Jared Goff. It concerns me what I see when they play San Francisco. When I see, he'll have 3 good weeks and then be Goffle the next week, and when he's Goffle, they can't win. Right, they don't win, and it's like he was against the Dolphins when they went down there in Tua's first start and just gave the ball away. He was Goffle, and that's my concern. And it happens about once every 4 games with him, because there's other times he comes out and he looks like this, and you say, all right, I don't need him to be Patrick Mahomes. I need him to be efficient because our defense is that good. We got enough weapons. There's enough creativity in this offense where we put him in a position to win. Just make the right decisions, and that's my concern. He wasn't good last year, and the games that he wasn't good this year, it's not just he wasn't good. Again, he was Goffle against the Niners and against the Dolphins. You disagree with that?
No, and I think the question with Jared Goff and quarterbacks of that caliber are, can you win if things aren't going your way? Mm-hmm. And then that's the difference between like the truly elite guys in the league and then everyone else. Is all right. Not everyone is going to look fantastic, but when it is a rough day, you have a couple turnovers. Maybe the system isn't great. Can you overcome that? And that's the question with Jared Goff, because on those days, has he won a game where he hasn't been good? It's been a day where, man, that was a grind, but you found a way. And that's the question mark with this offense.
Yeah, I agree with that. He wasn't great when they beat the Giants early in the season. That 17, they scored, 17 points? They beat them 17-9. And that was when the Giants were really scuffling. He wasn't good that day. He was good in one of their losses. He was good when they lost in the second half against the Bills. That game with that pass interference call, but no, their losses, the 2 losses against the Niners, he was bad, and the loss to the Dolphins, he was bad. Did they win a game that he wasn't good? I mean, he was okay in that Seahawks game that they won 23-16. For the most part, you're right. He was good when they beat the Cowboys, good when they beat the Eagles, good when they beat Washington. Yeah. So you're right. As he goes, they go. We got a lot to do today. Lobo basketball has a game. Lobo basketball, JJ, the men, not you, and the women's team. The men are going to be on News Radio KKOB on Sunday afternoon. 1 o'clock tip, they'll play Conference USA's Rice Owls. Rice was supposed to play Houston that day. COVID issues within the Houston program put that one to bed, so they're going to slip in there and spend some time in Houston and see if they can find another game. We're going to get into that. Mike Krzyzewski's created a lot of noise in college basketball with his comments, so we've got to go there as well. WAC expansion, that could include football, but would it include New Mexico State football? We absolutely have to talk about that. Senior day tomorrow for Lobos. They play Fresno State. So we got a ton to do. I want to wrap up some NFL talk, and we'll do that in a bit. JJ, when we get back, we'll talk some college football. The WAC is looking to expand. That's New Mexico State's league. They're talking about being a football league, but it may not help New Mexico State, and we'll explain why next. The opening drive, we're on ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
You've seen Rich Eisen on TV and heard him on the radio.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. Day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, Wildcats. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Kowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out. shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Don't sacrifice.
State has been looking for a conference in which to play football and ideally to take the rest of its athletic programs and be in one league. And for years now, New Mexico State has not been able to find it. Since the Sun Belt opted to not renew the temporary status of New Mexico State and Idaho. And the WAC now has talked about expansion and playing football. The Western Athletic Conference, in which they are currently playing their non-football sports, doesn't sponsor football anymore. Of course, when it broke up, there was just New Mexico State and Idaho left at the time that played football, and so it went the way of not playing it at all. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, and Josh on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animals. Well, on ProView. But JJ, the WAC's looking to expand, which I think is a good thing for New Mexico State, just not necessarily for football. They're talking about an expansion right now to 14 teams, which would really solidify the league in basketball, not necessarily make it much better, but solidify it. They're talking about bringing on Abilene Christian, Lamar, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston State, and Southern Utah. So it's a lot of Utah presence. Right now they've got a California presence in Cal Baptist. Is there another one out there, right? Because Bakersfield went to the Big West, so I don't think there's another California presence. You're in Chicago State. Chicago State's still in. UMKC is out. So your Grand Canyon's still in this league. Seattle. So you're all over the place. You're all over the place. Utah Valley. They're talking. The football talk is about an FCS. That's the division below where Division One is, FCS, Big Sky level. New Mexico State's scheduled out FBS through 2025. JJ, they claim they're and I stick to your guns. I mean, do what you got to do. They're not ready. They're to go down to FCS. They're hoping that the WAC, while they want to start at FCS, would build and become an FBS league. So there's no room for them right now as an FBS program to play football in the WAC if it goes this way.
Yeah, so you start there with the decision, I think, which makes sense for New Mexico State to play out and be an FBS football member for the benefits that it can bring, especially money-wise, and see what you're able to do over the next few years, especially if you're able to get on the football field after such a hard year that this was for a team that did not have a conference. And we saw you had to was it Liberty and Notre Dame jumped in with the ACC, but even some of the other independents maybe played like 3 or 4 games.
Liberty and BYU played.
BYU put it together, but I think UMass played like 3 or 4 games. So
UConn didn't play.
Yeah, it was. You were left out to dry if you're an independent that didn't have an established brand this season. So if you can get back on the field next year, see how that goes, see where you're at, as a university, but knowing, okay, if this comes to fruition, no one wants to go there, but that at least you have something to potentially fall back on in terms of going FBS to FCS. Now, when it comes to basketball, this is a home run. Now, the WAC isn't all of a sudden going to jump up and be like a 2 or 3 bid league, but when you bring in Stephen F. Austin, bring in Sam Houston State, these are teams that are going to be top 200 squads. These aren't teams that they're at the bottom. You're not looking at a Chicago State. You're not looking at, well, we're playing these games and winning, but it's not doing anything for us. You're looking at least solidifying the upper half of your league. And I was reading some stories about it, which it could be interesting if the WAC does, say, like a Conference USA model, where you play the first half of your season and the second half of your season, you reshuffle the deck so you're the top half of the conference really plays each other just to solidify their resumes, and everyone else plays out. And that could be really beneficial when you look at potentially being, say, I don't know, an 11 seed, a 10 seed maybe, as opposed to 13, 14 seed in an NCAA tournament.
Yeah, when you say top 200, people go, yeah, whatever. And go look at the Mountain West and you're realizing, well, you got a lot of teams that are hovering right around that mark. what it does, top 200 doesn't hurt you when you play them, right? You start playing those teams from 200 to 341 or 351 or whatever the number is, and it doesn't do it. It hurts you. And so I agree with you. Stephen F. Austin's been a good program. Stephen F. Austin's made noise in the tournament regularly. That's a good program. I think these Texas schools, Sam Houston State, even Abilene Christian, it just moving from the Southland to the WAC, I think would help them a little bit recruiting-wise. It's just a little bit higher profile. Remember when New Mexico State back in the day got into the WAC and how big of a deal that was? It was a huge, huge deal for them to get into the WAC, move up into that, and what it was going to do for them. Now, it's been a hindrance. The football piece, JJ, is interesting. I mean, at some point, if that's where this goes, and the Aggies are sitting here in 2 years, 3 years without a conference, we got to have the conversation. We got to have the conversation. Should they drop their football program down to the FCS level? Because their whole league's going to be there. They're going to continue to play independent. And to your point, man, and nobody saw this coming, but BYU and Liberty and Notre Dame joined a league this year. They joined the ACC this year. All their other sports are in the ACC. They played football in the ACC. They're in the championship game. Where does New Mexico State football go? And I'd like to see them stay at the Division I level. I might be in the minority. I'm not sure at the FBS level. Let's see what happens with all this talk going around now. Boise State and the rumblings. I don't think we're looking at a big conference realignment again. I really don't. But I think Mario's got to ride this out for a couple of years before he commits to playing football in the WAC at the FCS level. And I think that's his plan.
I agree with that. And with the Boise State situation, it sounds like an army of one right now, and that's Brian Harsin rallying his fan base. Because honestly, as we've talked about throughout the week, there's not a power conference invitation coming. And so for Boise State, it's like, all right, you really think that just going to maybe the AAC is all of a sudden going to fulfill all your dreams any differently than would in a normal season going undefeated and winning a Mountain West championship? It's not.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, Aggie fan, I'm curious. First of all, this will help. I do believe it helps basketball. I don't know what it does for baseball. I don't know. Honestly, I haven't looked at if it happens. And I'm going to tell you, Southern Utah isn't just a little throw in here. I think that just solidifying what they're doing in this region. JJ, the WAC has been teetering. I mean, like just to bring in programs that you think in these Texas-based programs at Abilene Christian and Lamar and Stephen F. Austin and Sam Houston, to have this 4-team Texas base with New Mexico State and now Southern Utah in the region, to give you the 6-team, because I'm going to put Southern Utah in that region, but 6 teams in the region. And then I guess you got to throw Grand Canyon in that, right? So 7 teams. I think what that does is solidify the league that you know it's going to be around for a while. And so then it's Seattle and Utah Valley, and I guess you could throw Utah Valley into the region. Seattle, Utah Valley, what is it? Chicago State, and Cal Baptist. It's going to be a 14-team league. At that point, to me, at least there's some stability. And again, I hear Lobo fan kind of snickering a little bit. And by the way, it's not like you've had great success in beating the WAC at a clip that should make you proud. I think the expansion in the long term would be good for New Mexico State. I don't know what it means. At some point, Chicago State's either, what are they going to do? Are they going to shut the doors of that league? Or are they going to, what are they going to do there? Because I don't know how long that makes sense. The UMKC thing is out. Tarleton's already in. You got Seattle, Cal Baptist, UTRGV. I forgot UTRGV, and Dixie State, right? So
this was a great addition when you look at a conference that is looking for stability, and that is the key word here. To get established programs that have been playing D1 basketball, that have good FCS programs for the future of just WAC and FCS football. This one really caught my attention because I didn't know that these schools were looking to move, let alone to the WAC. So this is a very good day for WAC basketball. And then, as you said, probably all the other Olympic sports that are now feeling better about having more competition.
Well, and I think those 5 schools, with Abilene, Lamar, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston State, Southern Utah playing football, with Tarleton and Dixie State, right? That's 7. I don't know if there's another football playing school that's going to be in there. I don't know if UTRGV is going to play football, but I think they've got the nice FCS league as well. Jay, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Jay.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. How you living?
Oh, not bad. Kind of chubby, but everyone is in quarantine. That's how I'm
God
living.
bless you, man. Eat.
So this conversation about the WAC is pretty interesting to me as a New Mexico State alum. But so let me say this. Home run in terms of basketball, you have Cal Baptist, which actually is a sneaky good basketball program. They took USC into overtime earlier this year, and they are that. You know, I know everyone loves to talk about Grand Canyon as the team in that league, but that is a team that is, in about 4 years, when they are eligible to play for the NCAA tournament,
they're eligible now.
They are going to be very, very good.
Jay, they're eligible now. Their transition doesn't last for a decade. They're eligible as of last year, I believe.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure because they weren't able to participate in the WAC tournament for that reason last year.
There was no WAC tournament last year. But yeah. Okay, yeah, that last year was last year, I believe.
Right. So, but they're going to be a force in that league. The Texas schools that come in are going to be also forces, basketball-wise. Now, football-wise, I know we're having this discussion about, well, this is going to be an FCS league. There isn't much discussion about the fact that those 4 Texas schools might have a desire to move up to FBS.
And that's the key, right? Do you put this thing together for a few years, and then would they want to move up and become the 11th league like they were?
Right, because, you know, that is something that will raise the profile of any university in the state of Texas. Football will always raise that profile. That's why UTRGV, they've actually done a study, and they're trying to see if it's feasible for them to put together a football program. Yep. UTSA was a non-football playing school, I think in 2010?
Yeah, when we had them, no, I think it was a little further out, but when we had them in the bowl game, JJ, was their first bowl game, and I think they'd been playing for 10 years, something along those lines. But yeah, a very, very young program.
Right, a young program. So that's one of the things about those Texas schools is that in order that you know, football in the state of Texas is a religion. So
no doubt.
So in order to raise the profile of that university, in order to raise the profile among just alumni and kids, you know, they're going to try and field a football program. Houston Baptist was once, I believe, like a D3 NAIA program, and they're an FCS program that's in the Southland right now. So it wouldn't shock me if those schools were thinking about moving up to FBS, and the WAC is kind of a good starting point or a good entry point and a soft landing spot, because one of the things, there's nothing that will diminish the enthusiasm for a new program like being bad in a new conference.
Right.
So being good in a new conference, a new FBS conference, will, or at least being competitive, will actually put fans in the stands and alumni on notice.
No, that's right, and they'll get on that. No, Jay, it's a great point, and I appreciate the call. It's good to hear you, man. Enjoy the weekend. JJ, his points on the Texas schools coming in, and if they're, I'd like to hear more from where they're coming from. Is there a plan, an ambition, a hope, a desire to start as an FCS conference, and 4 or 5 years in, look to be joining FBS ranks? Because if that's the case, then there's your solution for New Mexico State long run, potentially.
Yeah, and I think that it's not off the table for those schools. It always comes back to how are we going to afford this? Is this financially the best route for us, becoming an FBS conference? Because then it's just about media rights. What are you doing? Because then you're adding scholarships to your programs. How are you handling that? So this is the perfect way to say, all right, we like what this is doing for us overall. We'll get together like-minded individuals in the WAC, get this going, and let's see what happens.
All right, we'll talk about it more. Aggie fan want to hear from you. 505-246-0610. Do you like this potential move and grow in your league? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Northbound 98th Street, we
as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. Day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, Wildcats. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue.
Chargers 45-0 last week. You know, 45-0. And then the Rams beat that team 24. So what would that be? Make the Rams Chargers score? A lot to not very many, huh?
84-2.
84-2. Cam Newton got benched. Jarrett Stidham came in, and there's a whole lot of questions in Whoville if you're the New England Patriots. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, and Josh. Hope you're having a good Friday. 246-0610 is where Jay got in. Having a conversation about WAC expansion. And New Mexico State's league, there's many reports. And JJ, we've heard this about expansion in regards to football with Tarleton State and Dixie State coming in and playing football for about a year and a half now. And there's been whispers that they might try to be a Division I, an FBS conference. This would be a pretty good FCS league, right? Just as you look at it now with Tarleton State and Dixie State, Abilene Christian, Lamar, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston, and Southern Utah. I hear you guys going, what? What is this? This is what it is. If they had a plan, JJ, and I think this is New Mexico State's probably saving grace if they can't find, if the Mountain West won't accept them, if Conference USA won't accept them, that the Aggies play their independent schedule over the next few years. And then the plan is to transition to FBS for this new WAC within, by 2025, 2024, something like that. They could do a lot worse than that because they're doing a lot worse right now, right? I think. No, you would tell me you enjoy their schedule better now. You like playing UCLA and Fresno State and San Diego State and Alabama. That's great. I don't know if they like it. I don't know if they like going out and getting whooped every week.
But do you really?
Right? No, seriously.
The money is nice when you can add a couple bye games, 2 or 3 every single year. But really, I don't think it's nice as a fan when you're constantly 27-point underdogs every week.
So, no, you're right. You're right. So this would be the stability. If they become an FBS league, there would be a television contract, something similar to the Sun Belt, not quite as much as the Sun Belt to start, and they play probably a lot of midweek games. And I see nothing wrong with any of that. Do you? Finding there would be like CBS Sports has some inventory. I could see NBC Sportsnet getting involved in college football at that point. I mean, there's enough networks out there, and nothing sells like football. Nothing live sports, and I've told you this for I don't know how long that we've been watching MACtion and Fun Belt. Do you know why Bowling Green and Toledo play on Wednesday night? Do you know why you're watching Western Michigan and Eastern Michigan and Toledo? Because people watch it.
Yeah, live sports still carries cachet in the TV world. Everything else we can watch on Hulu, we can watch on Netflix. It's not appointment viewing. It's still hard to do that with sports. Like if you have to record a game, you will.
And you don't watch it. Do you ever watch a recorded game? Ever?
Only if it's
work related.
Like something like, I need to watch. Maybe I missed the second half of some Lobo contest, Aggie contest, etc. But no, because it's right there on your phone, and that experience isn't the same rewatching a football game as opposed to I need to catch up on 2 episodes of The Masked Singer today versus I missed week 7 and 8 of the NFL season. Let me watch these tonight and see how that went.
No, I agree with that. I record a lot of games. I just never watch them. The only games I still have on my DVR games that I called were New Mexico Bowl games. I record them, and I never go back and watch them. And I record them because I know I'm going to have to talk about them here. And sometimes I'll go back and zip through them just so I know what I'm talking about in the morning if I didn't catch a Lobo basketball game or whatever. But because you already know the outcome. Mm-hmm. You can't stay away from the outcome of a game you care about. Let's say you didn't. Well, it's on Conference USA TV, but let's say there was a Lobo San Diego State game, basketball, in mid-January, and you were out with the family, and you recorded it. It was a 2 o'clock start, and you were going to watch it that evening. It would be really hard, at least for me, to stay away from the outcome between all the idiots that are going to blow up my phone during the game, and all the news breaks and all the alerts that you get. Like you would know the outcome, right? Now maybe you'd want to go back and watch it, but my point is, people will watch Tarleton State play Southern Utah if you tell me it's a Division I football game. People will. We watch Bowling Green play Toledo. We watch Kent State play Eastern Michigan, right? That's why it's there. So I think this is a plus for everybody involved with the WAC. 505-246-0610. What thinks you? 888-922-0610. Meanwhile, Lowell basketball against Rice. JJ, I like this. I like them getting a Conference USA opponent. I like them getting a damn game. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm just glad that there's a game on the schedule before Boise State, and they may play another one, potentially two, hopefully, while they're down in Houston, and get some games under their belt. And just let's get this season started. So one COVID-shortened season ends this weekend, Saturday for football, and one begins over on basketball on Sunday.
At this point, it was just about playing a basketball game. I don't care who it was against. It could have been William Jessup. It could have been Lamar. It could have been, hey, there's 5 guys that are cleared to play basketball. Let's go. Just get on the basketball court. Try to get yourself a game, knowing that you're going to have to play conference games at some point in time, regardless if you play non-conference games or not. And then also, they're like, you know what? Is it cool if we stick around and maybe see if we can invite some people to your gym? And Rice was like, sure. Use it if you need it.
Yeah, that way we won't have to pay you to come here and play. I think that, look, this little nomadic team, and so they'll move out of Loveland and go down to Houston for a little while and live down in Houston. This is a season, I told you, it's going to be that year where the guys go, remember the COVID year? Man, remember when we were living on the road and we you know, ate all those pizzas or whatever. I mean, all the stories that are come. Like, I'm looking forward to when Lobos get back football from the 6 weeks in Vegas, just hearing some of the student athlete stories, you know, about just how'd you pass the time, and tell me, you know, what were some of the goofy times, because I guarantee you there's a lot of great stories about stuff that happened.
Derek on the line.
Right? I mean, this is not going to be replicated, or at least let's hope it's not replicated, right? Let's hope this was a once-in-a-lifetime deal, and pretty soon I don't have to look at Josh and Alden wearing masks all the time and staring at me. I'm glad you guys are, and I appreciate it, and it's good. But hopefully this thing ends, and we don't have to do this for the rest of our lives. All right, we're going to the phones when we come back. We've got a couple lines open at 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Rams won last night. We got to get into that San Diego State victory. That's great for this league, for the Mountain West. I mean, you don't have to like them, but it's really, really good for the Mountain West. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do.
I'll just get a little closer. Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass. Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer, and he hits. Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles. Chavez uses some athleticism, and then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question.
He got another one at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez. To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10.
Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji. Into Watson with the jam.
Far ball again. Another steal by Davino Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. Devils is all over the place. Heck about the lob, tag by Osi, the one-hand hammer.
It up. And a drive from Parham.
Creates space. He gives it off.
Inbound corner three. No. Rebound. Aztecs. Lamont Butler again. Across the midcourt line. Gomez in the corner. Shack for three. Good. Jordan Shackle playing like an all-conference first team. I figured he'd be second team by this year with improvement. But his improvement, my God, he's as good as any Aztec out there. The Aztecs do lead by 11.
That's our buddy Ted Leitner on Aztec Radio, courtesy of Learfield IMG College. Aztecs, San Diego State 80. On the road in the Pac-12, beat Arizona State 68. That's the 23rd ranked Aztecs beating the 22nd ranked Sun Devils. A good win for this conference, JJ. And again, I said before we went to the break, you don't have to like them, but you probably need to acknowledge and realize what they're doing, because they're the ones putting up high-profile wins. They are undefeated. They are back in the top 25. I believe if they don't lose this week after this win, they'll be in the top 20 next week. They are 34-2 in their last 36 games. They have won 13 13 straight road games, and as they told you on the Fox Sports 1 broadcast last night, that just doesn't happen in college basketball. You don't win 13. It's not like that's games in the Pit. That's going to Laramie. That's going to Arizona State. Now, granted, empty gyms this year. That was their first road game, but it's a good team. And with all the drop off, and you lose a first round pick with Malachi Flynn to the NBA, and with all the drop off they had, that program just keeps churning and churning and churning. And I said it earlier, I think they're the second best team in the Western United States after Gonzaga. I think they're the second best program over the last decade in the Western United States after Gonzaga, and that includes all the Pac-12 programs.
Yeah, and right now it's one that we knew San Diego State was going to be good. We just didn't think they'd be this good this quickly with what they lost off of last year's roster. And it's Jordan Shackle, his performance. You look at it from freshman, sophomore, senior, the junior, senior year. So he's taken a step forward every single year. So he has that classic developmental path. Matt Mitchell has been solid, and now he's like in really good shape overall. And they're just a good team. Like, there's not someone you look at and say, you know what, this is the most talented player in the conference. Like, this is a first-round pick. They don't have that guy, but they're such a good team this season overall. Mensa inside at a double-double at
17-15 for Mensa last night.
17 and 15 overall. So you get stable post play, good defensive presence. The guard rotation, Pulliam, Gomez coming off kind of being the sixth man with his scoring ability. Rope had a rough night last night, but he's been good, being a really Swiss Army knife forward for them. And then it's such a weird year where it is good for the Mountain West, but what is it really going to mean? It's going to benefit San Diego State more so than anyone else, because they're really the only one that's been able to play, not just play these high profile games, but win them.
And they got BYU and St. Mary's coming up before league play. So they're going out and playing a schedule. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, and Josh. 505-246-0610. Derek, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. What's good, Derek?
Hey, good morning. It's been a couple weeks since I've been able to call in. How's everyone doing?
Life's grooving. Good to hear you.
Good. Tomorrow is the greatest rivalry in all of sports, and I would debate anyone who thinks other, and that's the Army-Navy game. When I was stationed in Philadelphia, I had the privilege of going 1 year, and it's just fantastic. It is a fantastic event. TV even really doesn't do it justice, because you don't get all the emotion. When you see the cadet shipment march in, when you have the parachuters, the flyovers, the game itself, and then at the end when they're singing their alma maters, it's unbelievable. I've been to numerous sports in my life, and that is absolutely, without a doubt, the best sporting event I've ever attended in my life. No disrespect to the New Mexico Bowls that I've attended, Jeff, but it's unbelievable. It is just an unbelievable. If you don't even really have to be a football fan to go and enjoy the experience of the Army-Navy game. And side note, unfortunately, because some of these blackouts that Dish and DirecTV and some of these other cable providers are having right now, some people may not be able to see it, and that's a real shame.
That is.
And lastly, props to LSU. Props to LSU for giving yourself a bowl band in a year
when
where
they're
you're
3 and 5.
3 and 5, yeah, and we're about 25, 2/3 or 1/3 of the bowl games have already been canceled. I hope the NCAA does not accept their self-imposed sanctions here for their violations, because it's copping out, in my opinion.
It's a joke.
So, guys, have a great weekend. Go Navy, beat Army.
See you, Derek. That's a bucket list one for me. And so I don't necessarily watch. Do you watch Army Navy every year? Army Navy is, in some respects, to me. This is to me. Like, I watch it, but it's not. It's like the Kentucky Derby, the Indy 500, it's like I know I'm supposed to really get fired up for it, and so I take a look at it, and if I get into it, I watch it. But it's like all of those events, I so badly want to go to one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, you know about it, the pageantry of it, everything that's involved. It's not appointment viewing for me every single year, but as someone that's been to an Air Force game when they've played Service Academy, it is a whole heck of a lot of fun.
I was at Air Force Navy, was it last year or the year before? I've been to a lot of Air Force games, but I'd never been to one against Navy, and it was different and special. I got a question for you, and I'd love to hear thoughts on this. So if you could go to one, like one major college game, would it be the Iron Bowl? Would it be SC UCLA? Would it be Michigan, Ohio State in the Horseshoe or the Big House? Would it be Notre Dame SC in Notre Dame, or would it be Army Navy? Like, if you could pick one atmosphere, pre-COVID, hopefully we get back to a post-COVID, like, pick one. Which college football? Because there's so many great environments. I think I'm Army Navy, and I say that because I've been to I've been fortunate to be to some really good ones. I'd love your thoughts on that. Apple Cup's really fun too. It's the opening drive. We're on ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Breeze winds up line drive, caught at the goal line. That is a touchdown.
5 NFL games every week. This is
as Bobby's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, Wildcats. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24, late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
Beat the Patriots 24-3 last night on Thursday Night Football. Aztecs beat the Sun Devils 80-68. What's good, y'all? Oh, a whole lot. Merry Friday to you. Good win for San Diego State in the Mountain West Conference, beating the 23rd ranked team on the road, and then the Rams. Good conversation, and I got a question for you. As we go into a big college football weekend where you would have seen Ohio State, Michigan, or you won't, but you get Army-Navy. One college football game, you can go to one. One great atmosphere, one great rivalry. Where are you going? Micah, you see you shaking your head. Where are you going? Which one are you picking?
Easy.
OU, Texas?
OU, Texas. Red River Rivalry, Cotton Bowl, Texas State Fair. And I was planning to go this year. I was planning to go and make a little trip out of it, but of course everything hit, so that's my dream.
Have you been to one of those? Have you never been to one?
No, I've never been to a Texas game, period. So.
Okay. OU, Texas at the Cotton Bowl, Red River Rivalry. That's fair. Where would you go? I mean, do you have one? You can go to one?
So college football atmosphere.
You want to go to what? You want
rivalry.
to? Yeah.
I think I'm going to something in the South. It's got to be probably the Iron Bowl.
In Tuscaloosa or at Auburn?
Let's go Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. All right. Alden, you got one?
I was going to say Iron Bowl too as well.
Yeah. Fair enough. I would do Army-Navy. And I say that just because, and I could hear the guy from the afternoon show saying, you only come on and brag. I've been fortunate to be this. I've seen a game at Tuscaloosa. I've seen one at the Big House. I've been to Apple Cups. I was at the Vince Young Rose Bowl. So I've been really fortunate to be at some great games. One I haven't been to, I want to see Army-Navy. But I do want to go to Notre Dame too. I want to go to Notre Dame. I'd love to see USC Notre Dame at Notre Dame Stadium. I've not been there. Yours is really good on the Red River Rivalry. I'd like to see that.
I think maybe a close second place would be Florida versus FSU too. Go down to Gainesville.
So I'd like to see Florida, Georgia, the biggest cocktail party in the world, as they call it.
Can I go back like 15 years and then go to Florida?
And do that one in Jacksonville?
Yeah,
right. Still the cocktail party? Yeah. There's great ones.
It was good at football. I'd like to see that rivalry.
Yeah. There's no wrong answer to this. Like there's no wrong answer. It's just
I'll take New Mexico State right now.
Yeah, I think I'd like that too. New Mexico State in Loveland, Texas.
Yeah.
I'm on it. It'd be really, really cool. I know. I love your thoughts. 505-246-0610. I wonder where that goes. I know this is kind of a little bit of a June, July topic kind of a thing, but the Army-Navy thing got me going. That's the one, just because, gosh, I was at that LSU Clemson game last year. JJ, that was this year. That was this calendar year. You know how long ago the national championship game in New Orleans, Clemson LSU, feels to me?
Feels like it was years ago.
Golly. I mean, that was this calendar year. And that was a great event. That was kind of in, certainly my top 10 of games I've been to. That Vince Young Texas game, every time I tell you that.
So jealous of that.
Yeah, that one was.
Oh.
Yeah. And, I want to say, and I could be mistaken, you could look this up on the years, but I want to say that when we came back from that, a couple nights later was the Statue of Liberty Fiesta Bowl, was it not? Weren't those two the same year? The Boise State, Oklahoma Fiesta Bowl? I kind of feel like it was right around, because I just saw, I didn't go to that game, but I remember sitting on the couch watching that, and I want to say we'd just gotten back. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's what it was. All right, 246-0610 if you want to get in, 888-922-0610. We've also talked about the WAC.
2007.
They were both?
That was 2007, and then that Vince Young one would have been 2005.
Okay, so they weren't the same one. All right. Yeah, there was something else that happened right around that. So 2007 was the Vince Young, or 2005 was the Vince Young game. Yeah, that sounds right.
Well, technically 2006. 2005-2006 season was that one, and then 2006-2007 season was the Boise State Fiesta Bowl.
Okay, that's why we were out there. So that was I was working for the state, and we had a float in the Rose Parade, and so I was out there for that and went to the game. The Rose Parade. It rained so hard that morning. JJ, I couldn't have been any more wet if I just jumped into a lake. Standing out. There was like the 1 year it rained at the Rose Parade. And so I was out there, and once I saw our float come by, I'm like, okay. And I went to the parking garage where I parked, and like everybody was still out, and I geared down and I changed right there in the parking lot through my wet, heavy, it was brutal. But it's first world problems. Lobos Fresno State tomorrow. You'll hear that football game over on News Radio KKOB. JJ starts this pregame show at 7:30. I don't know where the line, if it's moved, I'll take a look at it for you. Danny talked yesterday again, and boy, he's super accessible. I'll tell you that. As far as global football, and there's people. Did you sit on the press conferences yesterday?
The only ones yesterday were Tuesday. This week were Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay, and so
availability.
I know I'm not supposed to feel that they can win this game, and right. Well, but I didn't feel that they could win last week.
No.
And I told you earlier this week, it takes so much pressure off of this game for New Mexico. Do they play looser? Do they play more confidently because they won a game by 1 point with a fifth-string quarterback? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you that it just takes so much off of this game because the difference between 1-6 and 0-7, to me, going into the offseason is tremendous, especially considering everything. And so I think they go out and play and have fun. I don't think they can slow down. My fear is defense and the passing attack of Fresno State. They haven't shown all year that they can stop a guy who wants to throw over the top, and that's my fear. And that's why I don't think they win this game. But I wouldn't be surprised they come out and fight like hell. They're 11-point dogs.
Well, I expect them to compete and fight in this game. The line is unbelievable. 11 and you're starting quarterback 5. It's not like, oh, maybe Tavaka's playing Trey. No, Isaiah Chavez is playing this game and starting on Saturday, and yet it's only an 11-point spread. That is unbelievable going into this game. Last week's game set up better for them. Even as good as Wyoming has been, you just got to stop the run. Levi Williams is not a dude that's going to beat you a ton with throwing the football. That was evident. He completed one pass in the first half. Yeah, it was a 54-yard gain, but it was still only one pass. And so this is a team in Fresno State that's gone over 500 yards of total offense in their last 2 games, is the number 1 passing offense in the Mountain West, is number 15 overall in FBS football offensively.
Gotcha,
so it's the thing that's hurt them the most, as we've always talked about. So that's why I'm looking at this. Now, I didn't think they'd win the Wyoming game, but the way it plays out, the way Wyoming plays football, you're like, all right, at least can you keep it close? Can you give yourself a chance? This one worries me so much more defensively.
You and I are on the same page with this. You're on QB5. They throw the ball. What are they? 3-2. They put up a ton of points, and your issue has been defending the pass. And again, you're on QB5. And I agree with you. The Wyoming thing, that's not what they do. They didn't take the top off of your defense. They tried to run it at you. They did it effectively. You got a few turnovers. You won a football game. I mean, I'm not telling you to go take Fresno State and lay the 11, but
it's ridiculously tempting if you are in an area to make a decision like that. And I do agree with what you're saying, though, too, overall. Like, once everyone realizes where they're at on, starting a true freshman walk-on from Rio Rancho, the fact that they won a game, I agree that it's a different feeling. Like, I think people understand if this one happens to get away from them, you can view how this season played out over the last 2 weeks differently than, say, if they were playing Treja or Tavaka Tuioti and they have a really bad day.
Yes, and that's why last week was so big, because then you'd be going into this you don't want an ON, you don't want an over season, right? And look, I'm not telling you 1-6 is incredible, but we all watch. We know what happened. We know they're down to a 5th-string quarterback. Ofer is just, it's a bad taste, man. 1-6, okay, we went towards the end and we were competitive. We never got blown out. The biggest margin was Air Force at this point, 28-0, right? Other than that, and even watch that game, you didn't feel they got blown out. They missed 4 field goals. And so that's why that win was so big to me. It just takes so much pressure off. And please take this question in the vein in which it's expressed. This is not asked with any disrespect. You're playing a 5th-string walk-on true freshman quarterback. After tomorrow, will Isaiah Chavez ever play quarterback again for the Lobos? Will he ever get in a game and play quarterback for the Lobos again? Do you think?
I think you have to say yes.
Okay.
Because of just the terrible track record of quarterback injuries at the University of Mexico. They can't seem to shake it over the last few seasons. And it's one, though, I think Isaiah Chavez, at least, he's earned himself a place for the next 4 years with Lobo football. And I don't think Isaiah Chavez, is a starter that's going to help the Lobos win number 5. But he is definitely someone that this coaching staff can now count on, that when it comes to spring ball, having him as, maybe quarterback 3 moving forward, he has earned that.
It's going to be interesting because obviously they've got recruits coming in. Tavaka's back for potentially, and could be back for his senior year. Trey Hall's back, right? So you got, I don't know what Brant Hughes' situation is. You got all these recruits coming in, and so Justin Malaya, I don't think he ever played again after that. And he's the modern day Justin Malaya. I don't ask that with disrespect. I ask that in all sincerity. This guy, he's earned his spot in Lobo lore. Like, you'll always remember Isaiah Chavez's name, just like you remember Justin Malaya's name. But I just don't know. Would this be, is this it for him? And if so, young man, go out and sling it and have fun, man. Go out and have yourself a time. And if he pulls this one off, are we going into the year next year going, hey?
Right, all bets are off. I think that's the one thing with Isaiah Chavez is his confidence level was great. When you saw his decision making, they're like, you know what, we're keeping it simple. This is the offense in the second half, and he prepared as a backup quarterback that week. And for him to come in and have some tough runs, that I think that Danny talked about it a couple of times this week. That I think it was like a 3rd and 7 run. He picked up 8 or 9 yards, just like.
And that was a tough run.
Yeah, he bounced off contact, spun around, like. The way I give Connor Jean credit in that first half. He was 6 of 8 when they said, hey, we want these quick passes, the extension of the run game. He did it, and he just happened to get sacked and break his wrist on a screen pass. Like, these guys, what they were asked to do, QB4 and QB5, it's just outrageous to me that they stayed in that game, how they competed. And I think that's also what changes the 1-5 right now, but if it's 1-6, whatever, is you won this game with 4 and 5. Like, so that's a different feeling than if you're 1-6 and you played with Tavaka the whole season long.
Totally.
Or even Trey Hall the rest of the way. It's fans had this shouldn't have happened moment where the true freshman walk-on from Rio Rancho, which is never not going to be at the forefront of this story, completes a game-winning touchdown pass. Danny Gonzalez's first victory.
You win one game by 1 point with your 5th-string quarterback, and it's amazing the different feel. Now, if they get blued out 45-3, we're gonna have a little bit of a different conversation, right? We're gonna understand it. I still think that win goes a long way, but if they get beat, 45-3 this week because they can't move the ball. Because they've got a 5th-string quarterback and they can't move it. We'll have a conversation. Let's see what they look like. It's a split screen night, isn't it, JJ? It's Aztecs and BYU on one side and the Lobos and Fresno State on the other on Saturday night.
Well, yeah, I think I'll be checking that out. Where's that game going to be? Maybe throw it up on the phone.
Yeah.
The BYU TV, you got to find that somewhere.
It's always every home game they have is on ESPN Family and Networks. You get that on the Plus. You'll be able to find that on the phone. All right, 2460610. I got a bunch of stuff from you. You got a lot of opinion. We'll get you some emails. You can get into the NFL stuff. Steelers-Browns is a really intriguing matchup this weekend. We'll talk about that. Global basketball, you've got a game. They're playing Rice. What did I say, Steelers-Ravens? Browns.
So Steelers, Bills.
Steelers, Bills, Browns, Ravens. I meant Steelers. I meant Browns, Ravens. But they're both really, really big because that division could completely flip. That's what I meant. Thank you for correcting that because I was misspoken.
Sunday night and then Monday Night Football.
Yeah. No, we got. And by the way, we'll have them both here for you on the Sports Animal. It's the opening drive at 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
This report.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wild catch. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been.
It's a good one.
Big ups to DJ Day, shouts Kawhi,
Spurs all day. You like that one, Micah?
Yeah, no game time ready cause it's black, red. I believe that we enough said.
Aztecs were winners last night. They won one. No Nets.
Got next, let them play, home team all day.
Big win for San Diego State and the league last night. 80-68. Look at you guys all bouncing. See, you seem to like that one a little bit.
I need the remix.
Yeah, we do. We kind of do need a little update, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or a little Drake Toronto Raptor championship drop in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple rings, a couple MVP trophies. Yeah, a little update. I think that's probably due for a new one. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, Mike, Josh, and Alden on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal and on ProView Networks. Big win for San Diego State. The Aztecs win at Arizona State. The Lobos will open up their season, their first game, on Sunday. At least they're scheduled to at Rice. I mean, everything is scheduled to, right? I mean, that's kind of where we live in this world. Richard's concerned about the cheerleaders and the chaparrals, and I appreciate Richard's concern for all involved. Jeff, you put them through grueling online tryouts, and now all indications are they aren't going to get to perform in a single game. Do they automatically get to keep their spots for next season, or do you say, too bad, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and make them try out again next year? And what about the seniors? Do you create a special alumni squad for a couple of events to throw them a bone? It's from Richard. Yeah, I got to get protocol from UNM on the cheerleaders and the chaparrals, JJ. I mean, they put in a lot of work, a lot of hard work. They trained all summer. And now they're probably not going to be in beautiful Loveland, Texas, or Houston, or wherever it is Lobos may play. You concerned?
Well, nothing is given. Everything is earned. So if you got to run it back, the tryouts, you got to run it back.
Yeah. Hondo says a very different game for Lobo football this week, Jeff. Wyoming is never going to chunk it all over the court. And with all the Pokes injuries on offense, they were even more conservative than usual. I don't think 17 points is going to be enough to stand in the winner's circle against Fresno State. That's a much different threat than Wyoming presented. Yeah, that's what we've been saying. Fresno State's offense has been and is and will be tomorrow night, I believe, a whole lot better than what you saw with Wyoming. It's a whole different ball game. So how are you going to stay in this one? I think that's. What do you do offensively? Like if you're Derek Warheim and Lobo, the offensive coordinator, do you let this fifth string walk on freshman chuck it around a little bit? Do you say, what do I got to lose, or you just got to run, pound? And
you run the same thing that you did last week, but you're able to add a few more reads and formations into it, like this is still a run-first offense out of the shotgun. And that's what you're going to get Isaiah Chavez, maybe a couple play-action fakes over the top. But if they just try to throw the football, it's going to be even worse for them.
Yeah, so there's part of me that says, what do you have to lose? Right? I mean, you know you're going to have to score some points to win, right? So I think you open up a little bit. I mean, I'm not telling you, chuck it. But I'm telling you, I think, what do you have to lose? And I don't know that you can just get into some grind game with Fresno State. I just don't think they're going to allow you to do that.
Well, yeah, but I think if you're the Lobos, you want to time of possession, control. The one thing that's been good for them is running the football. When it's worked, the offensive line has played well. They've been pretty good. And I think that was one of the things that stood out a lot about last week's game is how well they were able to run the football against Wyoming. And it's, Danny said this week that it's a mentality of, for some reason, they've all year long kind of played to the competition. In regards to, he said, like, mentally, like when his team went up against Wyoming, they knew, all right, this game is going to be physical. We got to be ready. And they meant it both on the field and mentally. When they started the season against San Jose State, Hawaii, and Nevada, you saw, there was a different team. And then Air Force and Utah State happened, and you might have got a sense of, okay, these are the games that, we can break this streak now. And it didn't happen. So I think they have to keep that same mindset of we have to win in the trenches. And that is why I don't think they're going to deviate from anything. They're going to try to slow the game down, run the football, try as much as you can to keep it out of Fresno State's hands. But the problem with that is it could be like 3 plays, 80 yards, and a touchdown. So.
That's what I'm saying. So what if you're down 21-0 early second quarter? You're just going to keep pounding it and pounding it and pounding it? At some point, you play to win.
I don't think they have that much of a passing offense.
Well, that's what I don't know. I mean, can he throw it? Right.
Sorry.
Well, I'm not telling you, pro-style drop back. I'm just saying, can this young man do that? And I don't know the answer. I mean, I saw what he did at the high school level. What can he do now? Can this young man, and can Isaiah Chavez drop back? Because the other piece of the puzzle is, if you're going to run option and put this guy out and all of a sudden he gets broken, there's not another quarterback left. You're going to the bullpen and pulling a third baseman out to pitch.
There's a quarterback who would start this game if he was 3 inches taller.
Bryson Carroll? You think he would start this game? You think he'd still be a quarterback, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, the dude was taller, he'd be starting the game. Because if you listen to Danny talk this week, he was amazed how well that dude throws the football.
So it sounds like he throws the football better than his quarterback does, is what you're telling me.
Yes.
Let the kid play quarterback and throw the ball. Like if you're down 21-0, then there's your answer.
But Danny said the problem is he can't see over the offensive line.
He's what, 5'8", 5'9"? Is that what he is? Yeah, you got to be able to see. I just, at some point, you're going to have to score points in this game. That's where I am. Lobo Hobo wants to know, Lobo basketball, is it going to be on the big stick? I don't see it listed on Go Lobos, Jeffy. Who will have the call with Hunter? The current announcer will still be in Vegas. Well, actually, I believe, Rob will have the call. It is Sunday. It will be over on News Radio KKOB. And I believe Rob's calling both football and basketball remotely, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be here in Albuquerque calling the games basically off monitor because this is COVIDia, and that's how things are done these days. So you will have Lobo football over on News Radio KKOB tomorrow night, 7:30 pregame show, 8:30 kickoff, and then 1 o'clock with a 12:30 pregame show on Sunday. Right? It's 1 o'clock our time, correct, Micah? Not Central Time, then 1 o'clock our time. You'll have the Lobo basketball game. All right, 246-0610, 888-922-0610. Want more of your thoughts? I asked you if you could go to one college football game environment, and this is pre and hopefully post-COVID. Army, Navy, Iron Bowl, a Rose Bowl, Apple Cup, Michigan, and Ohio State. Where would you go? You pick one. I'm going to Army, Navy. I just want to experience it. I want to be I want to absorb that. But I get it if you're going to go down to the South. I hear Ole Miss is a place to go to a football game now, JJ. I hear the sights are unbelievable. I've never been to a game in Ole Miss, but would love to go enjoy that as well. But I'd like to hear where would you go? Where's that spot that's on the bucket list? Hey, guys, here come the holidays. Thanksgiving's gone. Christmas is 2 weeks from today. And I know you're thinking about everyone on your list. How are you going to take care of them? Don't forget to take care of yourself. You cannot take care of anyone else unless you are taken care of first. And if you're not feeling right, if you're dealing with fatigue, low T, erectile dysfunction, call Numel and take care of it. It's a year when everything is seemingly out of your control. I understand that. But this is something that you absolutely can control. Numel's right here in Albuquerque. They can help you deal with ED, depression, even hair loss. You just have to make the call. 505-652-1688 is the number. 505-652-1688 or go to numale.com. That's numale.com. It's not going away by itself. You can't ignore it away. It's not going to take care of itself. The truth is there's nothing to be ashamed of at a certain age. These things are normal. The beauty of Numel is you can battle normal. You can feel better if you call Numel at 505-652-1688. Enjoy the holiday season. Give yourself the gift of feeling great. Make the call. Numel, 505-652-1688 or visit numel.com and feel better.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Moreno extra pass, and Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji. Into Watson with the jam.
Far with the ball at the end. Another steal by Davino Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. ProView Network is all over the place. Heck about the lob to Agbaiosi, the one-hand hammer.
Up. And a drive from Parham.
To create space, he gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it.
Coming in soon, double quick set for Avalos, goes to the right, Avalos puts it up high, window, scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a...
Around the screen, against White, step back, it's blocked! JB with the block!
In
transition ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good. What a three that is by Jalen.
Hidon puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it.
Julio Jones this weekend, boys and girls. The Falcons star receiver will not play this coming weekend. Fantasy football playoffs, that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like Alden's over there just going, damn, I need me some Julio to go to Schoolio. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, Josh. 505-246-0610. Emails come in. Jeff at 610knml.com. JJ at 610knml.com. Talking about the Rams win over the Deflaterators last night. 24-3. The Rams beat the Deflaterators. The Deflatriots? No, it's not nice. Tommy's gone. Now he's in Tampa Bay, and he can deflate balls down there. Stop it. And also last night, San Diego State basketball, 24th ranked team in the country, beat Arizona State on the road. Arizona State 23rd ranked in the country. Another top 25 win for the Aztecs. 13th straight road victory for San Diego State. I want you to think about that. I mean, in college basketball, what's if the Lobos went on the road in college basketball, and I told you the Lobos have won 5 straight on the road, which I don't know the last time that happened. But and it doesn't even really have to do anything, although partially does, with the crowds, right? Because there's no crowd at Arizona State yesterday. Oh, they didn't have the curtain, Jeff. That's why they had, no. JJ, 13 wins on the road in college basketball straight. Like, Duke doesn't do that very often. North Carolina doesn't. And granted, they're playing really tough places. But it's not like the Aztecs are just going to Long Beach State and winning in that little gym.
No, it's good, and especially this year when, dude, there's a chance that the Lobos play one non-conference game, others in this conference play 2 or 3. You know, the Aztecs have been able to get 2 really good wins over UCLA and Arizona State to win this game on the road. Yes, it's a different atmosphere, but it's also one that both teams are playing with. There's not anywhere you go right now, and there's 15,000 people in the gym. Now, there's maybe like 75, 100. So it's what everyone is dealt with at this point in time. And the Aztec team is good. Jordan Shackle's development has been great. Now, he is more than just a shooter on this team. He's a creator who's scoring at all different places over the floor. There's not a guy that wows you on this roster, but this team is the best team in the Mountain West, and to your point, second best team in the Western United States right now. And I think that is what is so impressive is they are a program, the definition of a program, to look at it and say, all right, there's all conference players, but there's not a guy that you're going to look at and say, this guy is the most talented player in the conference.
So I think what's impressive about the program is the longevity, and it's been able to sustain after Steve Fisher left. And there was a drop-off that first year, and I think the natural thought was, Dutch is just an assistant coach. Brian Dutcher, it was a great assistant. He was with Steve Fisher for, 30 years about at Michigan and then at San Diego State. Brian Dutcher was the number 2. He was and look, the continuity that goes with that cannot be underappreciated. What that means for a head coach to have a long-time, quality, loyal, competent number 2. Dave Bliss had Doug Ash for so many years, and it was the same concept, just not the level of success that they've had at San Diego State. But when Dutcher took over, and he was the head coach in waiting for, JJ, for like 4 or 5 years, right, when they named him? They had a little drop off that first year, and I know Aztec fans says, I don't know about Dutch. Dutch can't coach. They went 30-2 last year. They were in line for a 1 or a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, and I think we've realized Dutch can coach a little bit. But what's impressive to me is being able to sustain that success after Steve Fisher left, because I wasn't certain that they'd be able to do that. And I would argue with you that as good as that Kawhi Leonard Sweet 16 team was, we had this conversation last year. Last year's team was the best team that they had.
You could have had the best path. Is that what you were looking at? A potential number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. What kind of road that puts you on moving forward? It's the great unknown now. You just get to play the classic sports talk radio game. Which Aztec team would you take? Kawhi Leonard's team or
Malachi Flynn's team?
Malachi Flynn's team, because we're never going to know. But it could have been special for them last year.
Yeah, could have been. All right. 2460610. Got a lot of emails coming in. Jeff at 610knml.com or JJ at 610knml.com. Carl says, most overrated rivalry in sports. I feel agnostic about the Army-Navy game, Jeff, the same way JJ feels about the Triple Crown. I'm not talking about the patriotism aspect, just the action on the field, which is usually 2 squads playing a game with no impact on any final standings after all the bowl berths have been handed out. It's from Carl. Totally agree with that. That's why I said I don't watch that game much. I mean, I'll watch it, but I feel that same way. But if there was an event I want to go, like I want to go to the Kentucky Derby, don't you? Don't you like want to go do the mint julep thing and see the people in the hats and spend the first Saturday in May at Churchill Downs? I do. I've never done that. It's kind of why I want to go to the Army-Navy game. You don't? You have no desire to go do that?
I don't.
Really?
It's not my thing. Like horse racing, even the pageantry, it's a little too much for me. Like, y'all want to do you, drink your mint juleps. Cool story. I'm good. I definitely, when it comes to atmosphere, I think that's what puts Army-Navy apart. I don't know what it's going to look like this weekend. And then kind of the best of both worlds, I think it's like an Iron Bowl, or the world's largest cocktail party, tailgate cocktail, whatever they want to call it these days. And things like that where you kind of get the best of both.
Yeah, I'm down with that. If you ever gone to the track and bet the horses, put a couple bucks down and see, I learned how to read the racing sheet one time and learned kind of how to go back and look at the last races and the turf and the jockeys, and it's and then you go down, you can make a $2 bet, or you can make more than a $2 bet, but if you've got a couple shekels, not shackles but shekels. Because Shackle can shoot and Shekel can get you shot. If you get a couple dimes on a horse and watching your horse finish and just the agony of not, like we were was it last summer? I want to say not this last summer because nothing happened, but the summer before when we were in San Diego, we went to Del Mar. We saw Ziggy Marley play at Del Mar, but we went and saw the last 2 races, and Audra bet her first horse race. Kind of took her over to the window, and she looked at the thing and picked a couple horses that she liked. Never bet before, put a couple bucks down. Then we watched the race, and just watching her get into it, and her horse faded at the end, and she didn't win.
That aspect of it, like any time you can bring that in. I'm a huge DFS player, fantasy player, so I understand that aspect. But if I'm out here thinking I know stuff, and then I'm not winning anything every single weekend, the last thing I'm going to try to do is pick a bunch of horses.
That's how you win, dude. When you don't know anything. Look who wins the NCAA office pool every year. It's not you and me. It's Linda in accounting, man. That's how that works. You know that. You don't have to know anything. The more you know, the less you win. That's right. I don't win squat. I don't know anything, though. That's fair enough. I should probably win, too. 505-246-0610. Keep the emails coming. Jeff at 610knml.com. JJ at 610knml.com. I want your thoughts on the WAC thing, too. The WAC potential expansion and what that means for New Mexico State. I know it's not the biggest names. I get they're not joining the league with Alabama and Notre Dame. But Abilene Christian, Lamar, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston State, and Southern Utah, if that, in fact, comes to fruition and they join the WAC, gives that league stability And if they start forming a football conference, is that good in the long term for New Mexico State? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal and ProView Networks.
Your crew.
Call it as Pavi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. Day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, Wildcats. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Skowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24 Rancho. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabs. Touchdown. What a play.
Long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught! Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm! Wow. Santa Maria!
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is, a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside. Fly. Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steven.
A little quarterback quandary in New England. I know we sat here probably 6-7 weeks ago and said, they got it figured out. They stole Cam for $1 million a year, and they're gonna win, and look what Cam's doing. And I don't know if it's COVID what the effects. Cam's not the answer up there. Long term. JJ, after losing last night 24-3 to the Rams, the Patriots, who the week before beat the Chargers 45-0, they pulled him and went to Jarrett Stidham. Do you got to look and see what you got in Jarrett Stidham in these last? You don't. So you don't want to know what you got. You're going a different way than both of these guys.
If they thought they had something in Jarrett Stidham, this would be the year to play him the entire season.
Okay, but they didn't.
Not run it out there with Cam Newton, $4 million. They would have said, all right, we have questions all over the place. Half our team has opted out. Let's say we got Jarrett Stidham. There's a chance the final 2 weeks of the season we could see Jarrett Stidham play because we know Cam Newton's probably not going to be back in New England. So now, okay, I guess if you go to Jarrett Stidham, but I think they finished the season out with Cam Newton, and maybe Stidham starts the last game of the year.
Yeah, I think at some point, I'm not telling you now, at 6-7, I guess they still have an outside shot. But I want to go into the offseason knowing if this guy can play at the NFL level. I've got to. Belichick loves him. Like, if I'm them, I've got to know what I've got. We can't just sit here and say, no, I mean, Belichick tells me he loves him in practice. All right, but then you brought in Cam Newton over him. Because in this market, and we had this conversation yesterday, like if I'm them, I'm making a run at Dak Prescott.
Yeah. They're looking for a quarterback. We know the answer. Jarrett Stidham is not the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots. If they thought he could be, he would have started this year.
But then Cam came available. See, that's I don't know if I'm totally convinced of that. Cam was intriguing. At $1 million, you're stealing a quarterback who was the MVP in the league, who's proven in this league, who was coming off of injury. So you kind of, I got to believe their thought was he had a down year because he was hurt. Now he's going to be healthy, and look, we're getting an MVP on the cheap. I mean, I thought that. I think you thought that. And so you said, all right, we're going to put this Stidham thing on the back burner because look what we got. Like we got this MVP for we're stealing him, and he didn't turn out to be that. I'm not totally convinced that. I think they were ready to go with Stidham, and Cam kind of fell in their lap, and they said, all right, let's make a run at it. That's my thought.
Stidham, but this dude, even if we haven't seen him, I think there's safe bets. Like Jarrett Stidham's not winning the AFC East anytime soon. Yeah. And I agree with you. I was in on Cam Newton getting this shot. I think it made a ton of sense for the New England Patriots. But reality is we're seeing Cam Newton at this point in time is a hit or miss quarterback. Against the best teams in this league, he's going to struggle now, as he did against the Rams. Like he can't out-talent everyone anymore. That's what he used to be able to do. He has bad mechanics, he has bad footwork, and that hurts him now. I think Cam Newton's role moving forward is for the next couple of seasons, he'll bounce around, maybe fall into a situation like this where a team really does not have an option at the quarterback position, or be a backup, say for like Lamar Jackson or something, and a team that likes to have a mobile quarterback. Because I think even at this point in his career, we see with still his athleticism and size, he's still an asset in that regard, but it hasn't worked. And I was on board with it. I thought it was a home run to give Cam Newton a chance for $1 million, and it's kind of played out how you'd expect on an average football team with an average quarterback, and they're 6-7.
See, and that's the other piece, because they're so average offensively, because they've been so hurt in the running game, because they've been so hurt, and they're marginal. Talent-wise, as far as receivers, their offensive line's not that good. Did he get a fair shot? And I don't really know that I know the answer to that, to be honest with you. Belichick was asked after the game about switching to Stidham. His answer was, Cam's our quarterback. Said it one time, Cam's our quarterback. And then he was answered a little bit later, why not now switch to Stidham? Now, Newton's shown, Belichick what's going on. He's our quarterback. I think I just answered that one. I love Belichick's press conferences, by the way. So Cam's quarterback. They're 6-7. They're clinging to a playoff hope. The FPI, the Football Power Index, gives them a 6% chance. They play the Dolphins, who are better than them, coming up. Then they get the Bills and the Jets. I don't think they're getting the playoffs. But I agree with you on those last 2 weeks. I just want to know what I got. I would make sure that Stidham gets some reps against first team guys in a game that matters to give me an idea if I'm in this boat. Do I go with this guy or do I have to completely?
We know. Like Stidham's not. If Jared Stidham beats the Dolphins and Bills to end the season, wow, Jared Stidham's not your starting quarterback moving forward. Like there's things that we all, not being there every day, can probably make a safe assumption on.
See, I don't. I guess I haven't seen enough. Why are you so convinced that? Just because we haven't seen him play yet?
Because if they were convinced, even with Cam Newton at $1 million, and they still had to move to just get Cam Newton in for $1 million, they did not have enough room. This would be the year to say, Jared Stidham, you're our starting quarterback. Not the last 2 weeks of the season to say, oh, you know what? You played the last 2 weeks of NFL season. You can start a game next year.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I actually really, I think they were ready to go with him. This guy fell in their lap. They took a shot with a guy who's been an MVP that you figure would still be in his prime coming off of an injury, and it didn't work. And I guess I just don't agree that I would have made the same decision. Even if I thought Stidham was ready to go and Cam fell in my lap, I'd have gone with Cam, especially for $1 million. Especially for such a low.
Then you don't think he's a starting quarterback.
You could think a proven guy.
You don't. Like this is the perfect year. Half the team opted out.
Yeah, but why can't you say? I think he's a guy, but I think the proven guy's better.
The last 2 weeks of the NFL season is not going to tell you that this dude can be your starting quarterback.
I agree with that. It'll give you an idea what he can do. Belichick seems to like him. You could say, this is our guy, but that guy's better. He fell into our lap. I'm going to go with the guy who's better.
Because he's like, I guess that's where I'm losing it. Like
he's not proven.
And he's not going to be proven in the last 2 weeks of the season to be a starter next year.
I agree with that. But you got to have an idea. Look, I think we've determined Cam's not the guy, right? Cam Newton's not the guy.
They need a quarterback no matter what next year.
You and I are on the same page with that. But if they can't get a Dak, I don't even know. I mean, what are we talking about? I don't know who's out there. And they got to go with Jared Stidham.
A Zach Wilson, a Trey Lance situation where New England Patriots do some maneuvering to draft a quarterback in the first round.
So what makes one of those guys better than Jared Stidham? That's where I don't know.
Because Bill Belichick knows. If this dude's been around for 2 years and he's not starting this year, he's not starting now.
Right.
He's not your quarterback move.
And I agree with you. I think Bill Belichick knows. I'm just not convinced he knows it's no. That's what I'm saying. And that's where we're looking at it differently. 505-246-0610. Another hour to talk with you. Love to hear from you. WAC, global football, global basketball, Rams last night. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Good morning, I'm Juan Velasco. On with Shane from Jersey Mike's. And you guys are...
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji. into Watson with the jam.
Far with the ball. Another steal by Domino Lovato. And here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. The lob to Agbaiosi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova trying to throw it off. Romero, a three for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good...
Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing,
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time.
So Mo just helped me explain what I'm trying to say to you. The guy can be a starter, but you could have someone else on your team that you think's better. Mo sent me a text that it's all relative. Young and Rodgers were starters. They just weren't the best quarterbacks on their team when Montana and Favre were playing in front of them.
That is a terrible analogy.
Why?
We're talking about Aaron Rodgers and Steve Young versus Jarrett
What did you
Stidham.
know? Well, what did you
Aaron
know about
Rodgers
those two
was a
guys?
first-round pick that, in the weirdest draft ever, fell into the 20s.
Yes.
I think people believe Steve Young could play.
Well, you knew he could. He'd already played in the USFL, and he played with the Buccaneers. Yeah, but they were
There's
starters.
Tons of that, but there's so many more Jarrett Stidhams that have an opportunity to start, and in this situation isn't. He's not the future for the New England Patriots.
Now I want him to become a damn Hall of Famer. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, the reason I think he could play is because Belichick spoke so highly of him and loved him and was ready to roll with him. And so I trust Belichick when it comes to this. And my thought is maybe he can be a star. I don't know for sure. I don't know. I can't tell you what I think Jarrett Stidham looks like as an NFL quarterback. I don't remember him taking
a question for you. He's not.
Okay.
Because he's rolled with the other guys. He played Jimmy Garoppolo. He played Jacoby Brissett. He played Matt Castle. He's not playing Jarrett Stidham.
In what situations did he play? He always played him when the starter was hurt.
When Tom Brady was out, they started Jimmy Garoppolo because they really liked him. Oh, and Jacoby Brissett. This was the option. They didn't have anyone else. It was Jarrett Stidham. If they really liked him, they didn't have to bring in Cam Newton.
Right. No, I agree with that. If they did and they thought Cam Newton was better, I'm not telling you that he's better.
Cam Newton is better right now. Jarrett Stidham's not a starting quarterback in the NFL.
right now is a whole other issue. Yeah. All those guys that you said all started because of injury. They didn't start because they were better than the guy in front of them. So you're telling me
there was no one in front of him. They didn't have to bring in someone they.
Right. No, I get it.
If they thought he was a starting quarterback, and that's why I think he could play a game or two, but they don't. I think ultimately we come to the same conclusion in this. The starting quarterback for the New England Patriots next year is not on their current roster.
I believe that. I don't know what Jared Stidham is. And I listened to Belichick tell me all summer he could play. Jared's our cornerback. Jared's our cornerback. I want to see him. Opening drive on a Friday, Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, and Josh. 505-246-0610 is how you get here. You can send us an email, Jeff or JJ at 610knml.com.
Who would have thought the Jared Stidham debate on the opening drive going into the weekend?
Well, coming off of what you saw last night, I mean, can it get any worse than what and it's not fair. You said the Rams defense you think is the best in the NFL right now, and so you scored 3 points. It's like, I'm glad they didn't throw Jared Stidham out in that, right? That wouldn't have been fair. But the Dolphins and Bills and, well, then the Jets, that's what you got coming up. Is that any more fair? I don't know.
The Jets is fair.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fair.
We saw what the Dolphins have done to Jared Goff.
Yeah, he was Goffle. He was flat out Goffle. All right, you get Lobo basketball on Sunday, Lobo football tomorrow. Over on News Radio KKOB. Football starts at 7:30 with the pregame show tomorrow night. Basketball on Sunday afternoon against Rice. They finally get a game. Lobo Hobo said we spent more time talking about Jared Stidham this morning than we did New England. All right, fair enough. But I think the Jared Stidham conversation is kind of New England right now.
That's where it starts.
What are they? Well, what are they? If Tampa Bay makes the playoffs and New England doesn't, did Tommy get over on Belichick? Is that how this is perceived?
Yes.
Okay. He got out, went to a better situation. Belichick standing there. In the long term, Belichick, I think, rebuilds that, don't you? Because I'm absolutely
because you still look at how, with as many deficiencies as that football team has, and they have a lot on both sides of the football. Now, to be 6-7 is pretty impressive when they've looked like how against the upper tier of the NFL. So I don't think they win the AFC East this year, even if Tom Brady's their quarterback.
Agreed with that, too. Buffalo's better than they are. Miami, I think, is better than they are, too. Coach of the Year, Brian Flores?
Stefanski, Flores.
I thought the Browns had talent, and they were supposed to be good the last 2 years. The Dolphins were supposed to be horrible. I'm on Brian Flores right now.
Well, I think last year, kind of went on the Browns' talent bandwagon, regressed them. Odell Beckham. We realized, Baker Mayfield, despite being a number 1 overall pick, is in that Jared Goff level of quarterbacks, where he can be good, but when things aren't great, is he someone you can trust to win a game? Because that's pretty much like the majority of the league. You have your elite guys, and then guys that can win you a game, but when things are bad, what are they going to do?
Look, this takes nothing away from Stefanski and what he's done with the Browns, okay? Because I think he's done a terrific job, and I think he's on the ballot for Coach of the Year. And I think he's done a terrific job. First-year guy, turned that thing around. And they're 9-3, and they've been horrible. He's got a third-year first overall pick in his third year. This year, his quarterback's supposed to flourish. He's got the best running back tandem in the National Football League, the best 1-2 punch running back in the NFL. He's got a really good defense. Like, they should win. With all due respect, they should be winning. Miami, what do they have? Who's Myles Gaskin? They're winning with Tua and which you didn't know, a rookie coming off a big injury, and old man Fitz. His defense is way better than we thought it was going to be. To me, what they're doing in Miami is the biggest surprise of the NFL this year.
I agree with you on the talent perspective in it, but also how many times do we say someone's good and they're not? And so that's where I'm looking at.
Who are we talking about?
Like Cleveland. Like, they were a mess
They were a mess. That doesn't mean they shouldn't have been good. They were a mess because
I think that's where you have to give a coach credit.
I give him a ton of credit. I'm not taking
really close between him and Flores.
I'll give you that. It's like when you say, Mike's the greatest of all time. You're not dissing LeBron. That's why I felt like I had to do this whole dissertation. No, Stefanski's done a great job. I just think Flores is you got to grade him a little higher. That's all.
Because I'm with you in terms of the most unexpected performance is the Dolphins, and I think ultimately he'll win it. Because last year you're like, you know what, this might be the guy from the Belichick coaching tree that can get it. They were competitive, seemed like they had their act together, and then you're like, all right, give them an off season, bring in some guys, and then the fact that they've won with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua this season, the fact they have I don't know where it ranks, but I think that's a top 10 defensive unit overall.
Lance and Edward.
What about Sean McDermott with Buffalo? They're going to be the first non-New England team to win that division in 115 years. Not really, but does he get a little love?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of coaches that get a little love. I think Matt LaFleur. When you look at teams that are really good and we expected them to be good, do you give them credit or do you go to Brian Flores? And I think Brian Flores ultimately, I'm with you, Jeff. I think given if you just go straight down, all right, who you taking roster-wise, talent-wise, and what they've been able to do, I think he's in the running. I think Matt LaFleur is interesting because for some reason there was this narrative like it wasn't working. Right?
So
him and Aaron Rodgers were butting heads, and everyone was kind of off Aaron Rodgers. Like, I don't know if I want to draft him in my fantasy league. And all he's doing is reminding you he is one of the 3 best quarterbacks in this league.
Yeah, it's a scorched earth tour I told you he'd be on. By the way, I'm going to throw 2 other names in there out of the worst division in the league. But what Ron Rivera and Joe Judge have done to turn those 2 teams around with backup quarterbacks and really strong defense and get better as the year progressed in Washington and the Giants, both of those guys are on the ballot. I mean, I'll put your ballot with those 2 guys in LaFleur and Brian Flores and Kevin Stefanski. And I think you've got a conversation to have with all of them. I'm going Brian Flores because I think they're the most surprising team. I think he's done the most with the least. Although you can make an argument in Washington or the Giants, but they're going to be right around 500. I'm on what's going on in Miami. 505-246-0610. We got 2 lines open. Going to go to the phones and hear what you have to think when we come back. I want to tell you about IPS, International Protective Service. You see their vehicles around town. Do you know who they are? Do you know what they do? IPS protects businesses and homes. Hundreds of them in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. I've trusted them to watch my home for a number of years. I think you should give them a call. This time of year, you're going to have gifts on the porch. You don't want to be a victim of porch pirates. If you're going out of town, they watch your home. They will pick up the mail, the newspaper, roll the garbage cans to the curb and back. Just give your home that lived-in look. And certainly since COVID started, commercial burglaries have been up. And if you own a business, you don't want to be a victim. You just can't afford it right now. Call IPS and let the good guys protect what's important to you. Let them give you that peace of mind. You can get a 24-hour patrol, or you can get a 24-hour guard or a random patrol. Give them a call. No contracts. This is something that's going to make you feel good and protect what's important to you. IPS, those vehicles you see all around town, that means people just will not be a victim of property crime. Don't wait until something bad happens. Let IPS secure what's valuable to you. Call them at 505-897-2420. That's 505-897-2420, or go to ipsglobal.com.
He's got the...
box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it.
They're really...
Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District mashup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh! Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win.
Hey, he got it!
And it's good.
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did.
Oh my God! Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in. Ramos to Gaxiola, high window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage. Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy. It's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay. I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. It's into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
Run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Time!
Hey, 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 hey. Crap. It's almost better than the hoe on a Friday. You know what I'm saying? Rams won last night, just in case you didn't catch that. They beat the Deflatoriators 24-3. It's a good Friday, man. Good night. They win. Rams win last night big. Aztecs win last night big. All right, one line open at 246-0610. Let's go. Let's get through as many as we can in this segment. Lance, good morning. Thanks for holding. Merry Friday to you. How are you, Lance?
Merry Friday to you, too. Can I do an Edward and flip-flop teams to the Rams because they have a good-looking quarterback?
They did last night until he goes golfing on you.
You know. But anyway, your guy McMurphy. He asked a question. He's on 2 shows for the full time on Stadium. It's really nice to watch. You know, a guy with rabbit ears, because cable don't come in up here. But what 2 teams broke their longest losing streak in the nation this last weekend?
New Mexico and Toledo.
Akron. Close.
I mean Akron.
Very close.
Akron. Yeah.
But, you know, and the thing is I feel really a lot better about Lobo football. I mean, you know, if they win 2 in a row against a tough win coming up, I'm finishing the season fine because they played every dang game on the road. I mean, they're out there, you know, don't get to come home, don't get, you know, but maybe they finish family for themselves. Just made a family for themselves and all of that stuff, and, you know, became a lot better. JJ, this weekend, Major League Soccer, the Cup.
Ooh, yeah, the Cup.
Saturday,
Seattle and
with
somebody.
CU on Fox for big noon starter game. Your home state. You're going to have split screen for sure. I'm sure you would. But anyway, just win changes your culture. Not just culture, but you try to force in people. Once you win a few games, you realize, let's keep on this. Let's keep on this, you know, and everything will be better, you know.
Wetter?
But anyway, as far as yesterday with Edward and Sean, don't
look who's on hold.
Edward drinking. He doesn't drink. I mean, we took him to the best New Mexican restaurant in the whole
Hooters?
state, one of them. He wouldn't even eat red or green chili. He had 1 fried egg and toast and jelly and hash browns.
Toast and jelly.
Dude, I got like a 5-pound plate of enchiladas with the egg on top. Carne armada, you know? So his stomach can't take it, but
First of all, you're just getting started? Yeah, I mean, I got a couple people on hold, but I'm listening to this.
He flip-flops.
Not for long, though. We're not here for long.
He flip-flops his teams. It's from one to the other, and that's just a thing. You can't be on the Board of Regents of Sports Animals. Sean, you're a sports animal now. You know, you got to be hanging on a little while longer before you become a legend.
All right.
But I love your calls. I love you hanging with your team. But so these guys have more authority. We got to go through them first.
Wrap it. All right. Enjoy the weekend, Lance. I got that because look who's online. The next 2 guys are the guys you were talking about. Edward, good morning. Nice performance by your deflators last night. How are you?
Boy, that's like 4 minutes of my life I'll never get back, but I
never will.
Every aspect.
Yeah.
Hey, did Sean deliver yesterday? I must have missed the call. Did he call in and talk about single malt?
Yeah, he's up next. He's after you, so he'll give it to you again in case you missed it. But he came in with the best single malt Scotch, 17 years aged or something. Yeah.
You could go to Total Wine and there's single malt Scotch at $1,000 a bottle in there. Just so you know, Sean, I appreciate you. The committee has their eye on you, has his eye on you as a future Hall of Famer. So continue your good work and your progression. I thoroughly appreciate it. After that call, previous to me, I think I need a couple of shots, and some Maker's Mark that you had last night, my friend. Congratulations.
The 46, yeah, the 46.
The events that you talk about, Jeff, you and I have gone to some pretty big events. You know, I've been to the Super Bowl, I think, countless times. And it's too big of an event. I would encourage any sports fan, if you're a huge fan of a team, don't go to the Super Bowl. It's too long of a day. Go to the AFC or NFC Championship game and enjoy it thoroughly, and hopefully your team prevails. Because when your team loses, it's a long walk, and it's exhilarating when they win. I've actually been to the Kentucky Derby. It is a long, long day. In my 7-button suit like Ronchetti wears, I was sporting it. There's 14 races, and the feature race is race number 11. And Louisville's a beautiful city. You got to walk through an old neighborhood to get to the Kentucky Derby.
Churchill Downs.
I forget what it's called.
Churchill Downs.
Yes. And what you have is a diametrically opposed crowd of the wealthiest of the wealthy, and on the indoor track, it's like, you know,
the infield, not the indoor track, the infield.
Guys dragging in coolers, cut-off shorts. It's like Joe Dirt family reunion. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not embellishing. That's what it is.
Yeah, not the indoor track, the infield. The infield.
Yeah, the infield, it really is like a Joe Dirt family reunion. And
it's a common folk, man.
Every part of it, exactly. But, yeah, and I've been to the NBA Finals, thoroughly enjoyed that. Right. But, you know, the Kentucky Derby, I would do it. I did it once. I wouldn't do it again, but I would encourage anybody to go. Hey, we're only 14 days from Christmas, and I have an obligation to this city to put money in their pockets with the 5-star picks. Let me say this about the Cardinals. They're one Hail Mary heave away from a 5-game losing streak. And I think the Giants are going to beat them. The Giants are getting 1.5 points this week.
I like the Giants, too. I like the Giants.
And the Giants are 8-4 against the spread, so I'm taking the Giants and taking the 1.5. I think the Bills are going to beat the Steelers. And the Bills are favored by 2 at home on, I think, Sunday night. And then I think the Browns, you know, proved something to me last week. I think they're going to take they're getting 2 points at home against the Ravens, guys. I think I'm going to take the Browns over the Ravens at home, and let's see if they stay on this trajectory. So, Sean, I anxiously await your call. If you could just regurgitate what you shared with us yesterday, I'm going to head down to Total Wine a Day. I won't drop the 1,000. I'm willing to drop $100 on a good bottle of single malt Scotch, and I might even pick up some bourbon a day.
Attaboy.
Anyway.
All right. Enjoy the weekend.
I appreciate what you guys do. Have a great weekend.
See you. Sean, you're up next. It's like the bat signal. What's up, Sean?
Good morning, gentlemen. I appreciate the love from all the legends of the sports animal kingdom. Glad I can be on the doorstep of greatness, I suppose. One more time for you, Edward. It is Lagavulin. You can
Spell that.
An 18-year-old or a 12-year-old.
How do you spell Lagavulin? Sean, how do you spell Lagavulin?
Laguvulin.
Lagavulin. Laguvulin. All right, there you go, Edward. Lagavulin.
There you go.
All right.
One of my best stories I ever remember hearing of Don Maynard, and I just wanted to bring it up real quick. He keeps his Super Bowl ring in a freezer.
Really? Why?
Because he said that's the safest place for it. If someone breaks into his home, they're not going to look in the freezer.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
All right, then.
I love Don Maynard. He used to say that catching passes from good old number 12 would give him bruises on his chest because the ball was coming in so fast. But we're a long way away from the days of Joe Namath.
Yes, we are. Quite a long ways. You're in the days of Sam Darnold right now, when you're lucky. Otherwise, it's Joe Flacco.
Not for long. And that brings me into the question, who's going to trade for Sam Darnold?
So, I think the 49ers could. I think there's a number of teams. I think if he goes west, I think there's room for him. I think there's room for Sam Darnold somewhere.
Yeah, I think even the Colts, even if they keep Rivers for another year, that's a great guy for Darnold to be sitting behind. They have very similar builds, a very similar game. That's something I could see, but couldn't you picture Bill Belichick getting the best out of Sam Darnold?
I think that's a good spot for him, too. I think that's a good spot for him also. Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever trade him there, but if the push comes to shove and we cut the guy,
that's
I think that's where he goes.
All right. It's good stuff, man. Lagavulin, 16, single malt 16 year. It's only $93.95 a bottle. And you could, I've already called it up.
It's coming under that $100, but with tax, I don't know if you'll get it.
Yeah, well, it's a 5-star on the reviews. So, all right, man. Be well. Enjoy the weekend. All right, we'll get back to it when we come back. You get that? Lagavulin, 4.6 out of 5 stars on 30 reviews. That's pretty good. It's got nice reviews. Unbelievably smooth. Oh, yeah, it sounds good. I'm going to get me some Lagavulin. It's the opening drive. We're back to you on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is your home for the UFC.
Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay. I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. It's into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
He'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up and wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Jimmy Gaye. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out. A foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And off. Great hit. He bounces off. Outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run. Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores.
Cut into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo.
Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on in goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's gonna go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos, got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Look at that. So it becomes officially Friday when you get to Ho, does it not? All right then, going Ho. Ho! What's up, Friday? How you living? Glad you're with us. Lobos play tomorrow. They wrap up their football season against Fresno State at home in Las Vegas. Of course they do. Listen to that 7:30 tomorrow night. JJ Live, the pregame show. Lobo basketball starts their COVID season Sunday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Houston against Rice. Back to the phones we go. 246-0610. Rudy, thanks for holding. Ho to you. Happy Friday. How you living?
Happy Ho Day. I'm hanging in there. Going to see if I can sneak up north and make a few turns at Taos Ski Valley.
Attaboy.
It's finally open. I want to take a minute to recognize, I'm not going to read all the names. I'm going to post them on my Facebook page. But there's 25 guys that are going to don the cherry and silver for probably the last time tomorrow. And it sure would be nice if they would go out winners. And, there's a couple of guys that stand out that I've watched their careers and have been great Lobos. And I'm thinking about Patrick Peak, Cameron Miller, Brandon Shook, Teton Saltis. That's a guy that's going to play at the next level. Kyle Stapley, I think he's going to play at the next level. Marcus Williams and Tyson Dyer, and I think Tyson might even be having a shot at the next level. You look at what Corey Borquez and Jason Sanders have been able to do on special teams and pro ball, and Tyson Dyer seems to fit the bill. The other thing is, he's a certified mechanic. Did you know that?
Yes.
So, he can work on your transmission and then go punt for you. So that's added value. But these guys have gone through an unprecedented year. I don't even know what it would be like to try to get all that stuff done while you don't get to talk or see your family. You don't get to see your friends. You don't get to pet your dog. You don't get to sleep in your own bed. And they did it all for the University of Mexico, and I want to clear one thing up. This idea that taxpayers' money is being wasted on the football team. That's not true, and had there been more inventory of games, UNM might be a lot closer to that $4.3 million of TV money. They wouldn't have gotten a dime if they hadn't played, not to mention they might get broomed out of their conference. So, you look at what New Mexico State's trying to do, how desperate they are to get in a football-playing conference, and we need to do everything we can to support UNM and keep them in the Mountain West. People can complain all they want, but that's a better conference than most conferences around. And I really feel for what this whole program's been through the whole year. So maybe they can go out on a win, and just want to say go Lobos and thank you for the time.
No, thanks, Rudy. So as far as, JJ, this whole money's been wasted financially. They absolutely came out ahead. Now, because they get their share of the television money and they'll get their share of the football playoff, college football playoff money. Now, that's not the reason they did this. That's not the reason they should have done this. But if that's your argument, that you're angry that they played football and they're spending taxpayer money, now we can have a real conversation about could this have been done here. Could the governor's office have said, well, you're going to go play anyway. What if you can play here if you do what you're doing there, you bubble, but get away from campus. So I don't want you doing it. You could have even said do this in a different county. You could have said go to Valencia County, Torrance County, and spend that money that you're spending over there here. Bubble, though. I want you to go, wherever it is, and bubble but that money could have gone to New Mexico to feed them, to house them, and then they could have played in their empty stadium inside their bubble. And they could have, realistically, could have done what they were doing in Las Vegas, could have done it in New Mexico, and the money could have stayed home.
They could have. I know that's been a frustration for Danny, but they, had to deal with the hand that they were dealt, and this is one that you just aren't taking the time to read past the headline or read into a story, and that happens all the time. That is life. Now you see a headline and you start reacting to it, and you don't know what's going on. The Lobos, to your point, are coming out ahead because they have a new TV deal. It's pretty much double what the old TV deal was. And not only yet you're doing it for the student athletes, but you're doing it for the life of your athletic department. So moving forward, your other sports, your Olympic sports, can still give out scholarship and have a chance to play when things break their way.
Yeah, you just got to your point, you've got to read a little further than the headlines. You've got to read into the story a touch, and it's look, people are going to have their narrative and do what they want to do. Lancer is the OD answer. Jeff's calls have been a little off all week. Terry says, Cowboys Van Halen Part 2. Dallas Cowboys being dropped from Sunday Night Football for the Cleveland Browns is like Van Halen being dropped as a headliner and replaced with Men Without Hats. Hit the music, Micah. You can dance if you want to.
You can leave your friends behind. Friends don't dance. Friends don't dance. They're no friends of mine.
Look at that. All you guys are bouncing. All right, I got a email from Jason on perspective on WAC expansion that I need to get you, and it's very, very interesting, and I think he's on to something, and I think his perspective is right. So we'll get you that when we come back. 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. 888-922-0610. No down payment for a new home, no problem. Get a jump start at Kirtland Federal Credit Union. The Jump Start Payment Assistance Program can give you up to $6,000 towards your new home. And it's not a loan. You don't have to pay it back as long as you stay in your home for 4 years. Prices are high right now. Down payment could put that dream home out of reach, but don't let that happen. If you've never owned a home or you haven't owned a home for the last 3 years, you could qualify. Get a jump start on home ownership. Apply for your jump start assistance today. Go to kirtlandfcu.org/jumpstart. That's kirtlandfcu.org/jumpstart. Kirtland Federal Credit Union. They are more than military. They are for life. Kirtland Federal Credit Union is an equal housing lender, federally insured by the NCUA.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. Day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, wild catch. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24, Rancho, late in the third. How about this run? Nice play, Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine!
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown.
What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside. Fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Couldn't have said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one.
Whack is back, says Jason. Sent me an email. He says, I'm sure some are snickering, but not so fast. Does anyone think these schools are leaving the history as founding members of the Southland to stay in FCS? Look, we're talking about Whack potential expansion with Abilene Christian, Lamar, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston State, and Southern Utah. He continues, the Texas schools bring a good fan base and facilities, eyeballs to the TV. Don't think the ADs at these schools didn't see BYU and Coastal Carolina game and think that could be us. Coastal was once an FCS program not long ago. Heck, BYU was once in the WAC, okay, reach. But the market share for that game rivaled all other marquee matchups this season, and Coastal has probably piqued the interest in some FCS programs and moving up, especially out west, as there's no FBS landing spots. Don't be shocked if a Texas State or Northern Colorado puts their Olympic sports in the WAC with the eventual purpose of moving to the WAC. Should be a conference sponsor of football at the FBS level, but that's down the road. Basketball-wise, a great move. All these schools have played in the postseason in the last 5 years, which is more than UNM could boast in the last 5 years. It's a home run. Now, here's the fallout. Grand Canyon, Cal Baptist could see this move and seriously think about moving to the West Coast Conference. Both have the money and facilities to compete at a mid-tier level, especially if they have a marquee conference second in the West to recruit to. That's from Jason. I don't know that the West Coast Conference is looking at those two schools, but they could look to get out. So he's looking at this as a positive as you are. All right. What do we got? One line open. Let's get through all three if we can before we get out of here. Tommy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hi, Tommy.
what is it today? Free for All Friday. You guys should make a new segment. I hear all kinds of things going on.
That's right. That's right.
Real quick, I want to see what you guys' plans for the weekend. My plans is to get seductively involved with 3 bottles of Mad Dog and about 2 pizzas.
Okay.
And just enjoy the weekend. I agree with what you said about we could have had the games here in the bubble, in state. If the governor would have just, been patient with certain things, we could have done everything here, I think, and be perfectly safe. And then another thing I'll let you know, back in 2012, I used to do a show, Time of the Truth, ESPN 1390 AM, affiliate station in Hobbs, New Mexico, and I'm going to create my own YouTube channel in 2021 and do my Time of the Truth show, The Truth Hurts. I'm going to create that myself, and some friends want me to do it, so I'm going to do it. So hopefully you guys can tune into that and check that out next year.
All right. Good, Tommy. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Mad Dog and the pizza.
Yeah, I will. If I can make it through Monday, I will.
All right. We'll see you. That's good stuff, actually. Grady, you're up next. Good morning, Grady.
Lagavulin drinkers of the OD and the AM. What's happening?
It's good. What's happening?
I'm enjoying the topics today. Now, I'm more of a bourbon guy myself, so that leads me to I would like to go to the Kentucky Derby. Never been, bourbon on tap and 100,000 people doing bourbon things. So that seems like that'd be a good time. So that's definitely on my bucket list. And just a PSA for my guy Edward and those other folks. Now, I don't know about Scotch, but I can tell you with bourbon, high price doesn't always mean high quality. Price is derived more of availability than anything else. So there's some pretty decently priced stuff that's real good. So don't be foolish and chase just price tags if you're looking for good bourbon. That's my PSA for the day. And happy Hanukkah to all my sports animals, brothers and sisters who are celebrating. And let's see if we can get this Lobo win tomorrow.
Be good tomorrow, huh? It'd be good. All right, man.
Yep. Appreciate
Be well. Enjoy the weekend. Howard, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hi, Howard.
How you doing?
Good. How you living?
Good. Sitting at my desk working late last Friday night, always on 610 or 95.9, and none other than J.J. Buck calling the Lady Lobo game and doing a heck of a job, I might add.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
for you, J.J. I'm glad to hear you calling those games. And, I'm not a hard liquor drinker. I don't know how to act. So I was cracking open a Bud Light while I was listening to your broadcast of the game there, JJ. And quickly, Edward, welcome to the lower echelon of the NFL where the cellar dwellers are residing, such as my Cowboys and your Patriots and, the Jets. And welcome home, welcome in. Your Patriots have evolved 360 back to when they were pretty crappy about 20 years ago. So welcome. And then, Lance, be careful. You're trying to dictate Hall of Fame requirements. That's Edwards' department. And I guess we have some new blood in this Sean guy, huh? Jeff?
It's good, huh? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
I know. That's great. I always love to hear new callers. But I know you got to go. You guys have a great day. And, JJ,
2 minutes.
Nice call on those Lady Lobo games.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. That's good. I don't know. Mad Dog and pizza sounds like a pretty good weekend. I'm just saying.
I don't know about the Mad Dog. Definitely the pizza sounds phenomenal. Busy weekend, Lobo Athletics. NFL Sunday. Week 1 in the fantasy football playoffs. I don't care if you don't care about my team. I care about it.
That's right. Somebody cares about somebody's team. Somebody cares about your team. Those guys care. Everybody seems to have a playoff team going, so that's good. Here's what you got tomorrow. Lobo football tomorrow at 7:30 pregame show with JJ, and then 8:30 kickoff, and then basketball against Rice over on News Radio at 1 o'clock, 12:30 pregame. Jim Rome show is next. Dan Patrick shows after that. Sports Bar comes your way this afternoon. It starts at 3. Truly on Carlisle with more local talk. I don't know. You want to come back Monday and do some more award-winning radio?
It sounds good. Y'all enjoy the weekend.
All right. Good job, Josh and Alden on the ProView Network side. You can watch a replay of the show 3 o'clock on Comcast Channel 26 every day. Micah, great work. Enjoy the weekend. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll talk to you on Monday.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. Day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wildcats! Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Kowski on the sideline! Hasta mañana! He's off to the races! Touchdown, Clovis!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the